If you read enough, there's a similarity between things that make it easy, because this thing is like this other thing. If you have a broad framework, then you have a place to put everything. This was said by an eminent person. He's none other than the billionaire and one of the richest persons in the world, Bill Gates. Bill Gates is the co-founder of one of the largest tech companies in their world, Microsoft. Hello everyone. Welcome to the new video. Today, we are sharing the names of the books that recommended by Bill Gates. The books that he think everyone should read. As one of the common habits of every self-made billionaires, reading the books is a powerful habit that make people think differently, decide differently, respond differently and act differently. Bill Gates once said, "On vacation I get to read about 3 hours a day. This strategy is key to my learning." So, reading definitely helps us a lot. Let's move forward. Number 1, Life is What You Make It by Peter Buffett. Peter Buffett is the son of the billionaire Warren Buffett. Peter Buffett is an Emmy Award-winning composer and producer and co-chairman of the Novo Foundation. Buffett began his career in San Francisco writing music for commercials. He has released albums on the Narada, Epic, and Hollywood labels, as well as 6 releases on his own label. His work in film includes the firearms scene in the Oscar-winning film, Dances with Wolves. He lives in New York City. In Life is What You Make It, Buffett expounds on the strong set of values given to him by his trusting and broad-minded mother, his industrious and talented father, and the many life teachers he has met along the way. Number 2, Where Good Ideas Come From by Steven Johnson. A fascinating deep dive on innovation from the New York Times best-selling author of How We Got to Now An Unexpected Life. Steven Johnson is the best-selling author of Future Perfect, Where Good Ideas Come From, The Invention of Air, The Ghost Map, and Everything Bad is Good for You, and is the editor of The Innovator's Cookbook. He is the founder of a variety of influential websites and writes for Time, Wired, The New York Times, and The Wall Street Journal. He lives in Marin County, California, with his wife and 3 sons. Number 3, Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Farr. Bill Gates has called the book absolutely phenomenal. Part of the beauty of this book is that it makes clear how memory and understanding are not 2 different things. Building up their ability to reason and the ability to retain information go hand in hand. The book reminds us that we all start off with pretty much the same tools for the most part, and we can be intentional about strengthening them, or not. He said. Number 4, Tap Dancing to Work by Carol Loomis. Tap Dancing to Work compiles 6 decades of writing on legendary investor Warren Buffett, from Carol Loomis, the reporter who knows him best. Number 5, Making the Modern World by Vaclav Smil. This interdisciplinary text provides useful perspectives for readers with backgrounds including resource economics, environmental studies, energy analysis, mineral geology, industrial organization, manufacturing and material science. Number 6, The Sixth Extinction by Elizabeth Kolbert. The Sixth Extinction, An Unnatural History is a 2014 non-fiction book written by Elizabeth Kolbert and published by Henry Holt and Company. The book argues that the Earth is in the midst of a modern, man-made, sixth extinction. In the book, Kolbert chronicles previous mass extinction events, and compares them to the accelerated, widespread extinctions during our present time. She also describes specific species extinguished by humans, as well as the ecologies surrounding prehistoric and near-present extinction events. The author received the Pulitzer Prize for General Nonfiction for the book in 2015. Number 7, The Man Who Fed the World by Leon Hesse. This biography of one of the greatest men of our time is written in their same fast-paced, common-sense style that has characterized the amazingly creative life of Norman Borlaug. By revolutionizing food production across the developing world, our highly esteemed Nobel laureate has redeemed the lives of untold millions of people. No one can tell this story of Dr. Borlaug better than his fellow agriculturist and development authority, Dr. Leon Hesse. Said by George McGovern. Number 8, The Rosie Project, a novel by Graham Simpson. An international sensation, this hilarious, feel-good novel is narrated by an oddly charming and socially challenged genetics professor on an unusual quest to find out if he is capable of true love. Reviewed by Goodreads. Number 9, The Great Gatsby, F. Scott Fitzgerald. the only authorized edition of the 20th Century Classic, featuring F. Scott Fitzgerald's final revisions, a foreword by his granddaughter, and a new introduction by National Book Award winner Jesmyn Ward. Nominated as one of America's best-loved novels by PBS's The Great American Read. The Great Gatsby, F. Scott Fitzgerald's third book, stands as the supreme achievement of his career. First published in 1925, this quintessential novel of the Jazz Age has been acclaimed by generations of readers. The story of the mysteriously wealthy Jay Gatsby and his love for the beautiful Daisy Buchanan, of lavish parties on Long Island at a time when the New York Times noted gin was the national drink and sex the national obsession. It is an exquisitely crafted tale of America in the 1920s. Number 10. Business Adventures, 12 Classic Tales from the World of Wall Street, John Brooks. Business Adventures remains the best business book I've ever read. Bill Gates, The Wall Street Journal. What do the $350 million Ford Motor Company disaster known as the Edsel, the fast and incredible rise of Xerox, and the unbelievable scandals at General Electric and Texas Gulf Sulphur have in common? Each is an example of how an iconic company was defined by a particular moment of fame or notoriety. These notable and fascinating accounts are as relevant today to understanding the intricacies of corporate life as they were when the events happened. Number 11. How to Lie with Statistics by Darrell Huff. If you want to outsmart a crook, learn his tricks. Darrell Huff explains exactly how in the classic, How to Lie with Statistics. Number 12. The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. The book, which was written in 2010, is about racism, the criminal justice system and mass incarceration. Gates suggested it for thinking about how other people perceive the justice system. Number 13. Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, Yuval Noah Harari. Homo sapiens rules the world because it is the only animal that can believe in things that exist purely in its own imagination, such as gods, states, money and human rights. Starting from this provocative idea, Sapiens goes on to retell the history of our species from a completely fresh perspective. It explains that money is the most pluralistic system of mutual trust ever devised, that capitalism is the most successful religion ever invented, that the treatment of animals in modern agriculture is probably the worst crime in history, and that even though we are far more powerful than our ancient ancestors, we ain't much happier. Number 14. Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. In this stunning new book, Malcolm Gladwell takes us on an intellectual journey through the world of outliers, the best and the brightest, the most famous and the most successful. He asks the question, what makes high achievers different? Number 15. Breath from Salt, A Deadly Genetic Disease, A New Era in Science, and the Patients and Families Who Changed Medicine Forever by Bijal P. Trivedi. Gates called this title about the genetic disease cystic fibrosis a great example of where brilliant researchers at the academic level, a company, and donors came together to achieve something that it wasn't even clear could be done. The new non-fiction book chronicles how cystic fibrosis was discovered and treatments were developed, through the lens of patients, doctors and philanthropists. To take on a disease like that, it's very inspiring, Gates said. There's a lot of great stories in that. Number 16. The Box by Mark Levinson. The Box tells the dramatic story of the container's creation, the decade of struggle before it was widely adopted, and the sweeping economic consequences of the sharp fall in transportation costs that containerization brought about. Number 17. The Splendid and the Vile, a saga of Churchill, family, and defiance during their Blitz by Erik Larson. Gates told Miner about The Splendid and the Vile, a book he read about Winston Churchill during World War II. In July, Gates mentioned the same book, which was published in February and tells the story of the Blitz. The book is relevant now because it shows a leader who was under a lot of pressure and doubt with things, Gates said. Even though we can get obsessed about political stuff, stepping back and reading thoughtful books is very helpful. Number 18. How Not to Be Wrong by Jordan Ellenberg. The math we learn in school can seem like a dull set of rules, laid down by the ancients and not to be questioned. In a How Not to Be Wrong, Jordan Ellenberg shows us how terribly limiting this view is. Math isn't confined to abstract incidents that never occur in real life, but rather touches everything we do, The whole world is shot through with it. Number 19, 10 Lessons for a Post-Pandemic World by Fareed Zakaria. Fareed Zakaria, author, columnist and host of CNN Worldwide's Fareed Zakaria GPS, released a book about how the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the world on October 6. It's a very promising title, Gates said. In it, Zakaria packages learnings from the pandemic into lessons that governments and people can take away in the future. Lifelong learning is one of the keys to success in life. If we take great educators, billionaires, CEOs, professionals, most of them became what they are now is because of their learning mentality. So, if you want to become the successful, you have to learn again and again without end. Thank you very much indeed for watching this. Please don't forget to support us by following this channel. Thanks, from bottom of the heart. May we all become good game changers.